Hey, welcome! You know that feeling when you're trying to explain something and it just feels like you're listing off facts instead of actually telling a story? Well, today we're going to uncover a hidden power that's packed into some of the tiniest words we use. Seriously, this is about finding your communication superpower. And it all starts with one simple thing that might be missing.
Right. So you've got all the right ideas. You've got the info. But when you try to put it all together, it just kind of falls flat, you know? The person listening, they hear the facts, but they totally miss the story. They're just left thinking, okay, and so what? That's because there's a missing link.
Just look at this. The difference here is tiny, but it's also, well, it's huge. On the left, you've got two separate statements. I'm tired, I'm going to bed. Sure, they're true, but they feel completely disconnected. Now look at the right. We add just one little word, so, and bam, all of a sudden we've got logic. We've built a bridge. We've actually told a tiny little story.
And that missing link? That's our solution. So let's meet the heroes of our story today, the connectors. The official term is linkers, but I want you to think of them as a team of superheroes for your sentences. Each one has a special power to just glue your ideas together and make everything flow.
To put it really simply, linkers are like superglue. They're these little words that give your sentences logic and a smooth flow. They're the difference between just stating facts and actually explaining the reason something happened or the result that came next. Basically, they answer the two most important questions in any story: why and so what.
So, are linker superheroes? They're split into two main squads. First up, you've got Team Reason, who I like to call the Why crew. Think of them as the detectives, always figuring out the cause behind everything. And then you have Team Result, or the So What crew. These are the story finishers, the ones who show you the consequence of whatever just happened.
All right, let's dive in and meet our first squad, the Why crew. These are your absolute go-to detectives, the linkers you call when you need to give a reason or an explanation for something. They're the undisputed masters of cause.
And the leader of this crew, the most famous, the most reliable detective of them all, is the word because. It's direct, it's crystal clear, and it gets the job done every single time. It just gives you the reason and directly answers that why question.
And you can see its power right here. So why did she pass the exam? Well, because she studied very hard. See that? The linker connects the result directly to the cause. There's zero confusion, just pure, simple logic.
Of course, every great detective needs a couple of partners, so meet since and as. You can think of them as the slightly more casual cousins of because. You'd use them when the reason is kind of obvious or already known, which makes them awesome for setting the scene at the start of a sentence.
See how that works? Since it's late, well, we all know what that implies. Or, as I was tired, is just a simple setup for the action that's about to follow. They often kick off the sentence to give some quick, easy context before you get to the main point.
But wait, there's a special rule for two other detectives on the force: due to and because of. Now these guys, they're a bit pickier. They don't just connect to a full sentence. Nope. They have to be followed by a noun, like the traffic, or a phrase that ends in ing. It's a simple two-step process. For example, the flight was canceled due to bad weather. See? We don't say, due to the weather was bad. We connect it right to the noun phrase, bad weather. It's a neat little trick to make your sentences sound a bit more professional and way more concise.
All right, we've met the detectives who handle the why. Now it's time for the story finishers, the So What crew. These are the linkers that deliver the punchline. They take a situation and show you the consequence, the result, the grand finale of your idea.
And the undisputed champion of the So What crew has to be so. It's just the simplest, most common way to get from point A, the cause, to point B, the effect. It's the absolute workhorse of this team.
And its beauty is just how simple it is. It was raining. So what? So I took an umbrella. It builds that perfect logical bridge between a situation and what you did about it. It's honestly the real engine of storytelling. But what if you're, writing a really important email or a formal report? Sometimes you need to dress things up a bit. That's when you call in the rest of the crew.
These formal linkers do the exact same job as so, but let's just say they do it wearing a tuxedo.
Let's meet the team. Therefore is your go-to for a really strong, logical conclusion. As a result is fantastic for just clearly stating a consequence. And then there's consequently, which is the most formal of the bunch. Perfect for when you really want to emphasize that one thing directly led to another.
And here's therefore looking all sharp. He missed the bus. Okay, that's a fact. The logical conclusion, therefore he was late for work. It just adds this extra layer of weight and authority to your statement.
Okay, we've met the whole team. Is your head spinning a little? Don't worry, because this next slide, oh man, this is the one you're going to want to screenshot. This is your ultimate cheat sheet for becoming a master of linkers.
And there it is. Everything we've just talked about, all in one handy place. You've got the function, the specific linker, its special rule, and a clear example. This is your entire toolkit. Seriously, feel free to pause the screen and just take it all in.
All right, enough with the theory. The best way to learn this stuff is to actually do it. So it's time to put your new superpowers to the test. Let's see if you can spot the missing linker. You ready?
Okay, first challenge. We couldn't go out, blank, the heavy rain. What do you think goes in there? I'll give you a second. Got it? It has to be because of or due to. And why? Because the heavy rain is a noun phrase, which means we need one of our special detectives that connects to nouns. Nice one.
Okay, last one, quick fire round. She forgot her keys, blank, she couldn't get into her house. This one should be a piece of cake. The answer is, of course it is, so. It's a clear cause leading straight to a clear result. So gives us that perfect logical bridge.
And that's really the secret, isn't it? These are just small words, but they make a massive difference. They are the absolute key to turning a boring list of facts into a story that actually connects with people. So now that you have the power, what story are you going to tell next?